namely that antidepressants often do not do what they promise and are in fact causing harm to many.
Dr. Steve Hotze is suing over Obamacare's employer mandate.
It's time for a wellness revolution. Brought to you by Hotze Health and Wellness Center. Honest discussion on maintaining health and wellness naturally to enjoy a better quality of life.
He's the doctor fighting to let you keep your doctorate.
Now, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. This is Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze, who is the founder of the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. If you have any questions for Dr. Hotze today, he is live. You can call him at 713-212-5950. That's 713-212-5950. You can also catch us on Facebook. So you can go to Facebook, type in Hotze Health. That's Hotze Health. And you can watch the show live. And, of course, you can go to hotzepodcast.com. That's hotzepodcast.com. And you can download all of our radio programs. So it's so convenient for everybody. Wanted to make sure that you are aware of that. And now here's your host with the most, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
Thanks so much, Stacey, and thank each one of you for joining us today on Wellness Revolution. And we call it the Wellness Revolution because we want to make a change in the way people are evaluated and treated for their health issues. You know, if you get in a bad wreck or you fall from a tree or you have an acute problem, medicine in America is as good as it gets, diagnostic and surgery and all that. Long and short of it is, though, for chronic health problems that occur as you mature, really all that conventional medicine offers is palliation or masking of your symptoms using drugs. And drugs in and of themselves are toxins, and so they can cause a host of side effects. And if you watch any TV, you know that half the commercial on drugs is the side effects of the drug. So why would you take something that causes you health? And the reason they cause those health problems is they're toxic, and you get too much of a drug and it can kill you. If you take a drug long term, it can cause a host of side effects. It may mask a symptom that you're having, but you still have the side effects from the drugs, which can often be much worse than the symptoms that you had to begin with. That's the old adage. Sometimes the treatment is worse than the disease. So because we believe that you need a health coach, you need a doctor and a staff of professionals who'll coach you onto a path of health and wellness naturally, so you enjoy a better quality of life without using pharmaceutical drugs. Because we believe that. Does that make sense to you? Does it? Well, I hope it does. If it does, continue listening. If it doesn't, I'm not going to try to convince you. That's just what we believe. So those of you that believe the same way, I want to encourage you to give us an opportunity. We've helped thousands, 31,000 people in the last 25 years, and we'd love to be able to partner with you to help you do a 180 and get on the path of health and wellness naturally so you enjoy a better quality of life. What we believe determines how we evaluate and how we treat our guests, and we call our patients guests. And the reason we do that is because we think it changes the way we think about people. Rather than you being a number in some cold medical facility, we have set up a center that basically focuses on hospitality, and within that context, we provide the medical care. So you become a person to us. You're our guest. You become our friend, and we engage with you and help you and coach you along the path of health and wellness. You're the health athlete. We're the health coaches, and just like any time you have a coach, the coach is going to make recommendations, and the goal is to get you to win a gold medal in the Health Olympics. But you have to do the heavy lifting. It's a simple program. We use natural approaches in 4 different ways, and it's really simple. We take the complex and make it simple. Eating lifestyle, we give you a healthy eating lifestyle and explain to you why this is important for you if you're going to regain energy. The whole focus of our program is for your cells to be able to produce more energy, so your body and your organs run in an optimal manner. You want them to run optimally, not suboptimally. If you don't produce enough energy within the power plants of your cells, then you're going to be sick. You're going to have a host of problems. You're not going to think clearly. You're going to gain weight. You're not going to think clearly. You're going to have poor sleep habits, joint muscle action pains. Women can have menstrual irregularities. Your bowels can be dysfunctional, and you just don't do well. You don't function well in life. We want you to function optimally. So it's eating lifestyle, replenishment of your hormones, which inevitably decline as you age, and then using vitamins and minerals. And we use large doses of vitamin and minerals to help your body detoxify. We want to get the toxins out of your body. We don't want to put toxins in your body with pharmaceutical drugs. We want to get the toxins that you're exposed to in the environment every day and what you breathe, eat, drink, and slather on your body. We want to get rid of those toxins. And then we do an exercise program, and that doesn't mean you have to be an aerobic specialist. You just have to walk a couple of miles every day and get out and start moving. And it's a simple program, and when you get on it and follow it, people do extremely well. They tell us all the time, thanks for giving me my life back, and it's really a very, very simple program. So that's what we're about here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. And as you're well aware, here in Houston, in the greater Houston area, there were problems with Hurricane Harvey. This last Saturday, we held a Hurricane Harvey flood recovery meeting at the
was at the Equestrian Center in Katy.
Out in Katy. We had 175 or so people attend, and we talked about the medical hazards of flood-damaged homes, and there are. And the longer your home was flooded, you've got problems with biotoxins. Those are toxins that are emitted from molds and from the pathogenic bacteria that came in the black water. Black water is sewage water. And what happened in many areas of town, the sewers backed up and they got in the water, and that got into your home, and that brings with it pathogenic bacteria in the mold, and that can cause a whole host of long-term health problems. We had a remediation and reconstruction expert, forensic expert, who talked about the requirements and the pitfalls of remediating your home in this situation. He says he's never had a home that he couldn't remediate. And this is Toner Kirsting. He gave a great talk. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to transcribe what he had to say and put it in outline form, and we'll post that on Facebook for you here in the next day or two. And then we had a realtor, Georgia Strong, came in and spoke about real estate values and what to watch for, and how you need to get your home up and mold-free. The reason is that when your home's been flooded, when you go to sell it, they will do a mold count will be taken in your home. And if you have mold in your home, you go on a state registry, and you're going to have a hard time ever selling that home. So that's why the remediation is so critical and important. And then we had attorneys there to talk about how those of you who don't have flood insurance, which 82% don't have flood insurance, how you can be made whole. And there's some legal action and legal remedies that can be made whole, because the flood authorities made a decision to flood some homes to save the greater good of the community, but there's like condemnation without getting compensated for it. So we call that inverse condemnation, and there are legal remedies, and you need to get a good attorney to work with you on that. And we had Jared Woodfield speak and Terry Yates, and they did an outstanding job explaining the legal remedies that you may have. When we come back, we're going to talk specifically about some of the health hazards those of you that have been flooded have. And we're also going to talk about some key points on remediation that you need to know about.
That's right. And if you also want to find out more information about doing a 180 and taking charge of your health naturally, you can always give us a call at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. You are listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, your daily dose of radio reality.
That's right. You are listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, then know there is a natural way to address your health issues. You can give one of our wellness consultants a call today at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. Here's Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Wanted to bring to your attention some sad news. Dr. Ed Young's wife, Jo Beth, passed away early Sunday morning. And she's, I had mentioned her several months ago. She's been in the hospital for 10 months she had a tracheostomy respirator because she had some lung problems. And she's been fighting all along. Just a sweet, sweet Christian lady, dear Christian lady. And I've never seen anybody fight and love his wife more than Dr. Young did Jo Beth. She was adored by everybody in the congregation, and she thought the world of her. And my wife and I, Janie, knew her personally, and she's just a dear woman, lovely, lovely lady. And this, she's just struggled, and finally she passed away Sunday morning. So please be sure to keep Dr. Young in your prayers. He's had a grueling schedule, just working to keep her alive. There were so many times we thought she was going to pass away over the last 10 months, and she fought back and did well. And it's sad, and it's sad. And he's going to be experiencing a huge loss. And he's had to watch this over the last 10 months and fight. So be sure to hold him up in your prayers. Everybody thinks, well, he's a pastor, and he's a big man, and he's a great preacher and all that. And he's a godly man. He's a wonderful individual. I just know from having lost my son, when you lose a loved one like that, it's a loss. It's a real big loss, because she was his. He said, I lost half my life when she died. I lost half of me is gone, and so he needs your prayers too, and your encouragement. Drop him a letter at Second Baptist and just tell him you're praying for him. Let me see if I got the address here of Second Baptist. This would be really important for y'all to do that. Talk about something while I'm looking.
Sure. Well, I mean, it's a great, of course, it was a great reminder too that, no matter how prominent you get, people do assume, yes, he's a pastor, he can maybe handle it better than other people. But I mean, this is his wife, a woman that's been with him in his life for many, many years. And that loss, you just can't replace that loss. And I know he must be having a lot of mixed feelings right now. And just, never think that anybody's too big to, have you say to them, look, I'm thinking about you, and I'm praying for you. Don't assume. I mean, he's a pastor of all these churches, and you'd think that, he'd be covered up. And of course, he's got a huge congregation. But, if you have the opportunity to pick up the phone, or if you see him, or
go by and
just go by,
go by.
It means a lot. It really means a lot. And I know that he would appreciate that.
His address at Second Baptist Church is 6400 Woodway Drive. 6400 Woodway Drive, Houston, Texas, 77057. That's 6400 Woodway Drive, Houston, Texas, 77057. A note, I know when our son died, I had so many letters that people wrote. And my son died back in 1992 in an accidental death when he was 14. This was our fifth child and our second son. We have 8 children, and seven still on earth, 1 with the Lord in heaven. And but I got so many letters and notes, and that is such an encouragement to receive those. And you could drop him a note at 6400 Woodway and just tell him you're thinking about him, praying for him, and love him, and let him know you can do whatever you can do to help him. That'll mean so very much. I cannot tell you. And if you can see him personally, there's nothing more important than your personal presence. So I went and visited with Dr. Young yesterday and was just there. I know when I lost my son, I have a close friend of mine who discipled me in Christ by the name of Charlie Casebolt. When my son died, he came down from Temple, Texas, came to the funeral, and then the next day he showed up at my office on Monday. Funeral was on Saturday, and he showed up on Monday and just sat in my office, and he stayed there all week long, just sat there and didn't say anything. But just having his presence there meant a lot. So those of you who can, just if you see Dr. Young or can go by and see him, you might say, well, he doesn't know me, or I just know him, he's my pastor, and I'm sure more important people are with him. It means so very much to an individual who's lost a loved one to be there. And this principle carries over not just Dr. Young, but everybody. If you have family or friends that lose a loved one, just your presence, going by their home and just being there means so very much. I want to encourage you to do whatever you can when you have that happen, to be there in your person. Remember, there's nothing more important in a situation like that than your personal presence. It means a lot. And also, another sad report is that Dr. John Bisagno, who was the pastor emeritus at First Baptist Church. He's retired. His wife, Odine, died this last week, I think on Thursday or Friday, and she was buried Saturday, I understand. And Dr. Bisagno had a great, wonderful ministry in Houston for Christ for decades, a wonderful preacher. And so you could be sure to pray for Dr. Bisagno as well, and send a note to First Baptist Church and tell him that you're so sorry about his wife, Odine, passing. And both these men are great men of God who have had a dramatic effect on the gospel here in Houston. And so we need to remember them in our prayers and our thoughts. And a personal note means so very, very much. Well, again, this last Saturday, we held an event entitled the Hurricane Harvey Flood Recovery Meeting. That was held at Equestrian Center. We're going to host another meeting this Saturday. We will let you know what the location is tomorrow on the radio, and I'll put it on Facebook as soon as we have tied down a location for that. But we'll have it in the morning from 9 until 11 o'clock. We'll be talking about the health hazards of water-flooded homes, and I hope we can get Toner Kirsting there to talk about remediation.
He was terrific. Mm-hmm.
If not, I'll take his notes and talk about that. We'll have a realtor there, and we'll have some lawyers there who will discuss legal remedies for those of you who lost your home. So I know that in the community, it was in the greater Houston area, there were 50 or 60,000. It represents about 5% of the homes. Max 10% of the homes were flooded. But you all know friends. If your home wasn't flooded, you have friends whose homes were flooded. Let me just tell you, these people just feel decimated. I mean, you drive down the streets, if any of you haven't seen these areas of town where they had the flooding, and the front yards look like a bombshell. All their interior, all their furniture, everything is stacked up in the front yards. I don't know how they're going to get it all cleaned up. I really don't, but I know they will. But it's going to take a massive effort. I don't know where they're going to put it. And it's going to be a massive effort to clean up. It's going to be a massive effort. But what's really important is that you do your remediation correctly. And the reason is, if you don't do it correctly, you're going to have mold problems in your house. And molds give off toxins. You're going to have pathogenic bacteria living in your house, and they're going to give off toxins. When you smell that, those are toxins. And I've been into the homes and cleaned up, not this Sunday, but the Sunday before, was involved in a cleanup effort, and it was foul. And those are all biotoxins that are given off by the bacteria and given off by the mold. And those substances can cause, over time, serious health problems. For those of you that have allergy problems, it's going to increase your sinus infections, bronchitis, your asthma, your wheezing. It can cause skin disorders, cause you to have hives or skin rashes. It affects the brain. It'll affect your brain because these toxins are all fat-soluble. They're lipophilic, fat-soluble. They love fat, so they're going to go to areas of your body that have fat. And the organ that has the most fat is the brain. And so when these toxins get in your brain and build up, they can cause a host of problems with your mental function. And it can cause you fatigue. It's going to adversely affect the power plants within your cells, the mitochondria, so you don't produce enough energy. You're not going to be able to think clearly. You're going to be irritable, get depressed. It can cause a whole host of health problems, digestive problems. A friend of mine went out, said he cleaned up 14 homes, and he said, Doc, I said, that's dangerous. I hope when you go clean up a home, you've got to be masked and you got to be covered up. You can't let this stuff get on you and get in you. If you prick your finger, we had a guy at Second Baptist somebody had gone out and they pricked their finger, and within 5 days they had a staph infection up their arm. And so there's a lot of pathogenic bacteria. You got to be very careful when you do the cleanup. You got to be masked right. You got to be clothed right. You got to protect yourself. But if these stay in your homes, what happens if you don't remediate it properly? When you go to sell a home, they will check it for mold. If you've been in a flood, if you were flooded, the people that are going to buy the home are going to do their due diligence, and they're going to check it. And if you have mold in your home, you're on a mold registry list in the state of Texas, and you're going to have a very difficult time selling that home. we'll be back and talk more about this after this break.
That's right. And if you want to find out more about detoxifying your body naturally, then you can call us at 281-698-8698, 281-698-8698. You're listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Why walk amongst the living sick when you can join a wellness revolution? Here's Dr. Hotze.
Thank you for tuning in to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. I'm Stacey Banfield here with Dr. Stephen Hotze. And if you would like to do a 180 and take charge of your health today, then give us a call at 281-698-8698. That is 281-698-8698. And of course, I want to remind everybody we are on podcasts as well. So you can go to hotzepodcast.com, hotzepodcast.com to download your favorite radio programs from Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. And then we are on Facebook Live right now, so you can go to Facebook, type in Hotze Health, it's Hotze Health, and you can watch the show live. Here is Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so much, Stacy, and thank each one of you for joining us today on Wellness Revolution. We've been discussing several items, but most particularly we've been talking about the health hazards of flood-damaged homes. I've done a paper on that. I'm going to have that posted on our Facebook page later this afternoon, so you'll be able to access that and get some information about flooding and what you need to do to protect yourself. And if you begin to have health problems in your home when you move back in, you need to address that. And we talk about ways to do that. Let me just tell you some things you can do right away, and I'd highly recommend this for anybody that's cleaning homes or that has had flood-damaged homes. I recommend vitamin D to help strengthen your immune system. Vitamin C also. I recommend 1,000 milligrams for 25 pounds of body weight. And so if you weigh 150 pounds, take 6,000 milligrams, 3,000 in the morning, 3,000 in the evening. On magnesium, I recommend somewhere between 600 and 1,000 milligrams. Be sure to use magnesium citrate or glycinate. Also get a good, strong, potent B-complex. We have that energy formula here at the Hotze Vitamins, and it is a strong B-complex with vitamins and minerals in it. I'd also recommend glutathione. Glutathione is a naturally produced molecule in your body. We produce less as we age, but it is it helps with detoxification of chemicals and biochemicals and biotoxins in our body. So that's important. N-acetylcysteine helps regenerate. That's an amino acid. It helps regenerate that. So those are some things you could begin taking now to help your body stay strong, your immune system, keep it healthy, and make sure you're producing enough energy within you. Detoxify your body so you don't strangle the mitochondria, the power plants in your cells, which would cause you to produce less energy and be more susceptible to illness. I want to mention about remediation in your homes as well. What most people have done is they've gone in, if they had 2 foot of flood, they just ripped out, 2 feet or 4 feet. If you have an 8-foot ceiling, the sheetrock is 8x4, and it's normally laid one on top of another, so they rip out the bottom. Let me just tell you, in my opinion, you need to strip that all the way up to the ceiling. And the reason is because the moisture and the mold will grow on that other sheetrock, and particularly on the outside walls. If you rip the sheetrock off on the inside of the outside walls, on the outer perimeter of your home, on the other side of the 2x4, 2x6, you've got another board that then has a plastic sheath on it, and then there's the brick. Well, you can't get at that. And what happens is that stays moist. And if you immediately go back and put in sheetrock, wet goes to dry, and that new sheetrock you put on will become wet. And even if you spray all that and don't do it properly, if that stays damp, which it will, what's going to happen is mold's going to reform, and you're going to have mold in your home. And that, over time, can cause a host of health problems because it releases mycotoxins or mold toxins, which have an adverse effect on your health. There's a group of individuals, about 25% of the population, that have a gene that prevents them from properly detoxifying the toxins from mold and bacteria.
25%?
25%.
That's very high.
So other people can tolerate it better and they can detoxify. But if you have that gene, it's called the HLA-DRBQ gene, you can be tested for that to see if you have that. That blood test can be done at a doctor's office. LabCorp offers the test. And if you have health problems, there are additional tests, which I describe in my paper on mold on flood-damaged homes, that can also be done that show that you have been affected adversely by mold. You need to keep that in mind. Now, if you don't remediate properly, what's going to happen is you're going to have mold and pathogenic bacteria. It gets into the wood. There's porous. It gets into the wood. It's in the tile. You got to rip up your tile. You got to get rid of your carpet. You can't remediate the carpet. If your clothes were damaged, get rid of all those things too. Just get rid of. If it was wet, you got to throw it out. Especially in those homes that had the black water. Black water contains sewage, and you just want to get rid of everything that came in contact with, because that mold and the bacteria get into the wood. Now, so once you strip your house of the sheetrock, this is what our mold remediator said. This is what has to be done. You've got to dry your home. And what most people have been told, well, turn on the air conditioner, open up the windows, and everything's going to be fine. Some remediation companies have dryers so they can go in and dry your home. But your home, before you put new sheetrock up, you've got to make sure that the wood and the walls on the outside of the perimeter are dry. Then they got to be sprayed again for mold and for other pathogenic bacteria. And there's different products on the market. A mold remediator can help guide you on that. But the one thing you don't want to do is let people come back in and say they'll remediate your home and just dry it for one day and slap all the sheetrock on and you think everything's good until you go to sell your house. Now, when you sell your house, people are going to ask, was it flooded? Yes, it was flooded. Well, then the due diligence before they buy the home is they're going to test it for mold. And if you end up testing for mold, your home goes on a mold registry. And you're not going to be able to sell it. Nobody's going to buy the house if it's got mold in it. Even if you can't see it, there's mold behind the walls. It's in the vents. It's up in the attic. So you have to be very, very careful. Now, what the mold, Toner Kirsting recommended, who's the remediation and reconstruction specialist on flood-damaged homes, said that this is the way he recommends, is that once you get everything pulled out of the house, flooring and all that, you close your windows and you crank up the heat and you cook the house. And that evaporates the moisture. It's sucked out through the vents and sent outside. That's the way you get your house dry. We got 90% humidity outside today. How are you going to dry a house with 90% humidity? It just doesn't happen. It stays moist. And your house has to be under 8% moisture to make sure you're really in good shape before you put your sheetrock back up. So be very careful in doing this. Don't go slap sheetrock up right away and say, oh, I'll pull it down, put up some new sheetrock, everything's going to be okay. It's not. You've got to make sure that house is dry before you do any reconstruction. We'll be back in a minute to discuss this further.
That's great information, Dr. Hotze. And perhaps we can also post his information as well on Facebook so people can reach out to him directly. So if you want to do a 180 and take charge of your health naturally, then give us a call today at 281-698-8698. We'd love to have a wellness consultant have a conversation with you about how you can be healthy and well naturally. That's 281-698-8698. You're listening to Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. Please stay tuned.
Now back to the Wellness Revolution. Here's your host, Dr. Stephen Hotze.
This is Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution, where we are on a mission to help you achieve health and wellness naturally. If you want to do a 180 and take charge of your health, then you can call us at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. And if you want to find out more about the supplements that Dr. Hotze was talking about in the previous segment, then you can always go to Hotze Vitamins. That's HOTZE vitamins.com. Or you can give them a call. We have an 800 number. That's 800-579-6545. That's 1-800-579-6545. Or you can go again on HotzeVitamins.com, and then you can have one of our certified nutritionists have a conversation with you about the vitamins and supplements that will work best for you. Here's Dr. Hotze.
Thank you so much, Stacy, and thank each one of you for joining us today on Wellness Revolution. Many of you, prior to the Hurricane Harvey, flood rain, were experiencing problems like this. You were fatigued, you had difficulty with weight, you had a cold body, your body temperature was below normal. Check that. It should be 98.6. If it's below normal, if it's below that, your metabolism is slow and you're not producing enough energy within your body, because when your mitochondria, the power plants in your cells, produce energy to drive the biochemical process of the cell, the excess energy is given off as heat because the body operates best at 98.6 Fahrenheit. And if your body temperature is low, and what we find is most of our guests when they come in, the average male is 97.6, the average female is 97.2. We send it down to the 96s thousands of times. So that means you're not producing enough energy. And that relates to your power plants in your cells, your mitochondria. And the mitochondria are activated by a key hormone called your thyroid hormone. And the thyroid hormone activates the mitochondria, enabling it to properly produce energy. That energy is electrical energy, and then it's transmitted to the biochemical processes in your cells, which drive the cells and help them function well. And organs are made up of multiple cells, and then the organs function well. If you have low production of energy, you are going to have health problems. You're going to have all the things we've talked about now, the weight gain, the fatigue, the inability to focus and think clearly. You're going to have joint muscle aches and pains. You may have some sleep problems, mood swings, depression. All these are symptoms. Some or all are symptoms of hypothyroidism. And at the Hotze Health Wellness Center, we believe that if you have the signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism, you deserve to have a therapeutic trial of natural desiccated thyroid, not the synthetic thyroid. I just saw a lady this morning came in, and she's been on synthetic thyroid since she was a junior in high school.
Oh, my goodness.
And she has all the signs and symptoms of hypothyroid on the synthetic thyroid. But she said her doctor told her her blood levels are all normal. It can't be your thyroid causing the problem. Here's the problem with synthetic thyroid, and I don't know why this is lost on endocrinologists and conventional doctors. The synthetic thyroid is the inactive thyroid hormone, T4. It's a prohormone. It's got to be converted to T3. Now, T stands for thyroid, 4 stands for iodine atoms that are attached to the thyroid molecule. So the inactive thyroid hormone has a tyrosine molecule. Let's say it's the thyroid molecule with 4 iodine atoms attached to it. That is the prohormone. That hormone has to get into your cells where one of the iodine atoms is cleaved off, so now you have T3. You have a thyroid molecule with 3 iodine atoms attached to it. That's the active thyroid hormone. That's what activates your power plants in your cells and makes them run. So if you're not making proper conversion from the inactive thyroid hormone to the T4 to the active thyroid hormone T3, no matter what your blood test shows, you're not getting your mitochondria are not producing enough energy, and you're going to have all the signs and symptoms of low thyroid, despite the fact that your blood tests may be normal. And by the way, on thyroid blood tests, 95% of the people always fall within the so-called lab normal range, and that's because that's how they define the range, wherever 95% of the people fall. So imagine a bell-shaped curve. You got one end of the curve where it's very high, the other end where it's low. That's the range. And it's as wide as the Grand Canyon, tall as the Empire State Building, and, you want it to be an optimal level. So you may have been at a high end of the range when you were younger and felt really well, and now it's down at the low end of the range. But the doctor said it's not low enough to treat. It's still within the range. And the ranges, I've done blood tests on guests at the Hotze Health Wellness Center and sent the same blood to 2 different labs and got dramatically different results in the blood reading on the same blood to different labs. So who am I going to believe, the lab? Which lab, A or B? Or am I going to believe the patient? And if the patient has the symptoms of low thyroid, then they deserve a therapeutic trial of thyroid the conventional doctors will give you, if they find you within the normal range, they won't give you any thyroid, but they'll give you antidepressants. They'll give you anti-anxiety medication, sleep medication, anti-inflammatory medication. They'll give you heart medication, blood pressure medication, diabetic medication. They'll give you all these toxic drugs when really the underlying problem is so obvious and clear. It's low thyroid in the vast majority of individuals. And once you treat that, you get your optimal energy production within your cells, and you run well. So it's kind of like running a car, 8-cylinder car with 7 spark plugs. It just doesn't run well. It runs rough. It just can't gain maximum speed, and it shakes and shimmies, and it just doesn't do well. You want to have all 8 spark plugs going, in your cells. You want those, like in a car, you want all 8 spark plugs so everything runs optimally. Does that make sense? This is such a simple concept. I've written about it. Other doctors have written about it. But for some reason, conventional doctors are scared to give natural desiccated thyroid. I don't know why they don't try it. When I first heard about this, I tried it. And we had such dramatic results that I kept refining it. And then we also found a lot of our patients had antibodies to their thyroid gland, which is called autoimmune thyroiditis or Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And that blood test isn't routinely checked for by conventional doctors, and because it's not covered by your insurance. So there are some additional blood tests that can be done to prove that you do have a disorder in your thyroid without looking simply at the thyroid stimulating hormone level, which isn't even a measurement of natural thyroid hormone to begin with. So I want you to understand that many of you, before even this hurricane, had these problems. You had low energy production. Now, with the stress that you're coming under, adversely affecting the adrenal glands, it's affecting all your hormones, you're going to have a worsening of your symptoms and problems. And these can be easily corrected if you simply develop a good, healthy eating lifestyle, replenish your hormones, both your thyroid hormones and your sex hormones, and when indicated your thyroid, you give a little cortisol to support the adrenal gland. You take vitamins and minerals to help produce more energy in your cells, as well as detoxify, and get on an exercise program. If you have allergies, we can treat for allergies as well. We do some skin testing and treat for airborne and food allergies to help you build up blocking antibodies. So I want to recommend for you, if you want to get yourself on a path of health and wellness, time to do it is now. Do it 180. Get off. You're going down the wrong way of the highway. Turn it around and go back the other direction. And let's get on a path of health and wellness. I encourage you to give us a call today and get yourself set up so we can partner with you and help you.
And I love the story that you told me about the doctor who had first told you about using natural desiccated thyroid. And you had asked him why he used that. And he said, because it works.
Yeah.
It doesn't get more simple than that. So give us a call today at 281-698-8698. That's 281-698-8698. We'd love to give you a complimentary consultation. And, of course, when you call, please be sure to ask for Dr. Hotze's book, Hormones, Health, and Happiness. It's his best-selling book, and we'd love to give you a complimentary copy. Well, it's always a joy having you on the radio with us every day on Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution. So everybody out there, have a blessed and wonderful day.
Information provided on this radio program is neither intended nor implied to be a substitute for professional medical advice and is not intended to replace the services of a physician, nor does it constitute a doctor-patient relationship. You should not use information from this radio program to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. If you have or suspect you have an urgent medical problem, promptly contact a professional healthcare provider or call 911. Dr. Hotze's Wellness Revolution radio program advises you to always seek the advice of a physician or other qualified health provider prior to starting any new treatment or with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Any application of the recommendations from this radio program is at the